The next person in the history is Dr. Pasteur. He's one of my heroes. He was a chemist originally assigned by the French government to study contamination in beer and wine industries. They would have barrels that would become cursed because they would have bacterial growth in those barrels, and it would ruin the wine. So he instituted the effect of basically washing out the barrels with boiling hot water and being scrupulously clean when they were working with the wine or beer. And he actually single-handedly saved millions of dollars for the French government just by coming up with that observation. But because he was not a medical doctor, it was frowned upon by the established medical community for him to work on anything that had to do with medicine. He believed that the germ theory, which was coming out about the same time, Koch was publishing on the germ theory at the same time that he was forming his ideas. And he believed that basically you don't need to use dirty instruments when you're performing surgery, that you should wash your hands, that you should be clean and use aseptic techniques to prevent spread of one disease from one place to another. So if you ever get a chance to read on him, there's a book called Microbe Hunters that's incredible. You need to read it. It's just something you could put on your bedside table and read. He actually came up with several different vaccines or several different treatments. He found that if he attenuated anthrax, for example, if he learned it by accident. He had anthrax. He went away for a few weeks and then came back. And the strain of anthrax that he had growing still grew, but it was weakened. It would no longer kill the animals that he injected with. And when he came back and tried another strain of anthrax, the animal was immune. So he started actually vaccinating animals in the community. After this huge success, which there's a lot more to that story than I said, he was brought back to Paris where he worked on rabies. And he actually found out, thanks to his wife pointing out that the rabies was being attenuated, because rabies is a virus and he never actually saw it. His wife said, well, is it attenuated? Does it get weak after it's set in a test tube for a while? Pasteur actually tried it on some dogs, but then he tried it on a young boy when his mother brought her son to him. The boy's name was Joseph Mister, and he was inoculated with a series of rabies vaccines in order to prevent the basic death. Back then, if you were bitten by a rabid animal, it was a death sentence. Well, Pasteur was taking a chance of being guillotined if that little boy had died. So he was a pretty brave man. He was also evidently a character. He was known to get into fights with other scientists around the world. Reading about him is fairly interesting. Here's an interesting side. Joseph Mister, years later, was responsible for protecting Pasteur's body when the Nazis invaded France. He actually helped to hide the body, and he was tortured and died by the Nazis, where they were trying to find out where Pasteur's body was. That's how famous he was. He was so famous for his work in vaccine development that the Nazis wanted his body to take back as kind of a prize, take back to Germany. I'll talk about vaccines some more in the next audio.